Hey everybody, one of Wisdom here. It was Sunday the 18th. I guess it's now Monday the 19th, 3 a.m. A couple things to note. One, I am really tired. And two, it was later than this last night when I was also really tired when I pinned out the round 5 matches. Kind of had to scribble a few of them out, so bear with me here if we have any hiccups on that. That said, round 4 results, it was a little bit longer of a video, but for good reason. I got to involve my nephew in that one. That's back-to-back videos he got to do with me, so that was pretty sweet. Hadn't uploaded the Beyblade when they're actually both uploading right now, but the prior one he did, we unboxed some new Shogun Steel Beyblades. In that video, I mentioned Shogun Steel we thought was a filler, and it turns out it's actually what Zero G is in Japan, so my apologies there. I'll try to put a note. Usually that's a little type of things people pick apart. But, like I said, for the record, it's actually being covered here before it's even uploaded, so we will run with that if I need defense. But, it's pretty cool, when he gets to be involved, kind of just run with it, whatever happens, happens. He's got some good ideas. Just kind of let him do his own thing and, contribute, make things worthwhile. That said, 3 a.m., he's obviously not here to do the round 5 matchups with me. That said, I alluded to it in round 4. I started not to, kind of teased it, and then at the end, there's no reason not to. There are some killer matchups here. Possibly 2 of the best that we'll see throughout this entire competition. Doesn't get much better than that. It's basically a 1 versus 2 and a 3 versus 4, if I recall correctly. That said, going to try to make this one a little quicker. Obviously just have one person's insights here. What I'm going to do this time, and this is the first time I'm doing this, and it's primarily due to the fact of how epic the back end of the Castaways side is. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Newlanders. For the record, that's actually why I led in with my nephew being here. Chase McCain is hidden again. Didn't forget to do it, even though it's 3 in the morning. Pretty easy to find. My nephew had a really awesome spot that first time. It's in the Beyblade video. I'm interested to see if anyone can actually find him. And that was with me adjusting it. You could technically see him where he placed him. It was just like virtually impossible. It's like you'd have to really spend some time. That said, it's kind of like where's Waldo if Waldo wasn't actually on the page. Our first matchup here on the Newlander side comes in. This is actually a huge matchup. If you followed this series, you may kind of be laughing about it, but I mentioned when I flirted with the idea of doing a stage 2 where the Newlanders battle Newlanders, etc. Part of my reason, we had so many bottom dwellers, JetVac, Sprocket, Shroomboom, Chill, Flashwing. They were all basically just rock bottom, which doesn't speak badly of them when you consider that they just went through the ringer with 8 of the best Skylanders out there. That said, it kind of made it hard. It would have been really hard to seed a bracket with that. We basically would have had to tournaments to determine, the seeding at that point in time. I mentioned that however this panned out, the Newlanders versus Newlanders, it would probably separate them. We're probably going to have 1 or 2 stay near the bottom. The others are probably going to put some streaks together. We're already seeing that. The way this one's going to pan out, JetVac is currently our 8th ranked Newlander. Sprocket, our 7th ranked Newlander. They have identical records. 1-7 against the Newlanders, both of them. And, Castaways, 0-4 against their fellow Newlanders. Something's got to give right here. This is essentially whoever loses this is probably going to fall into last place. And I'm not sure that they're going to be able to climb out of last place. So really big matchup here. I definitely know which way I would go. I think I know the way everyone's going to vote. Could be wrong. This is one, JetVac, from time to time, he's had some close losses. He's kind of had some support. Sprocket kind of the same way. She seems to have her core fan base. Basically the people that were there from the beginning said, that's the Skylander I want before even getting the game. I think you've got that faction and probably a few converts after playing with her. I honestly don't know what to expect in this one. It could be one-sided. I mean, these are two bottom dwellers. Or it could turn out to be insanely, I mean, one of those ones that's, decided by 3 or fewer vote type things. Very important you vote. Again, 1-7, 0-4, overall record 1-11. JetVac and Sprocket, something's going to give right here. If they do actually tie, instead of dragging it out, I'm hoping I can kind of get back to a 1-week deal. That said, this is not the time or the place because this has some insane matches in it. If they do tie, I'll just break it. I mean, that'll save us all some time, and then we can actually get into the tournament. It's not like they're going to be eliminated from competition at this point. So, that said, I'm interested in this one. It could be a really, really intense matchup. Our next Newlander matchup in 5-2, if you will, Earth Element Newlander Flashwing. She is one of the ones that is putting a bit of a streak together here. Against the Newland Castaways, she went 1-7. Again, that's looking at the 8 you battle. That's, there's many characters that would suffer the same fate. That said, here against her fellow Newlanders, I believe this is one of those ones I can't read my own writing because I was crashing into the keyboard, but I want to say 4-0 maybe? No, I'm sorry, 3-1. Okay, I see what I did there. So 3-1 against her fellow Newlanders, and then overall that puts her at 4-8, starting to climb back up. But the big thing, she's got 3 wins here. That said, may have a difficult time here. Magic Element Newlander, insanely popular Magic Element Newlander, Pop Fizz. He comes in 5-3, really good mark against the Castaways. Undefeated, 4-0. He took down Hot Dog earlier. He's essentially the top dog right now. He is our number 1 Newlander. Flashwing, however, has emerged as the number 4 Newlander, so could be interesting. Again, take everything into consideration. The pose, in-game, how you feel about him in gameplay, the voice acting, the upgrades, if you feel like they're not fun when they're fully upgraded. Everything about the character, factor it in. Don't just think, oh, PvP, go ahead and put it all together. Essentially make it to where, which of these two is your favorite. So, pretty sure I know how this one's going to turn out. I'll hold off on anything I might say that could potentially sway it, but again, matchup number 2. Our third matchup kind of pits polar opposite elements, if you will, literally. Hot Dog streaks onto the scene. He, of course, is our other insanely popular Newlander, only beaten with his fellow mates by Pop Fizz earlier on. He came in 6-2. It was actually the best mark against the Castaways. 3-1 against his fellow Newlanders. Puts him at 9-3, second overall. That said, Chill, you probably heard me mention, winless against the Castaways. That said, she had so many ahead of her at 1-7. It wasn't like she was trailing by a lot. Here against her Newlander brethren, she has fared much better. She's currently sitting 500, 2-2. That puts her at, 2-10? I guess we've had 12 now. So clearly, like I said, this is kind of a 2 versus 5, if you will. I know who I would take. I'm pretty sure I know who everyone else will take. That said, sometimes we have some surprises. We're just going to have to see what happens here. I'll come back in with my predicted blowouts and marquee matches here at the end for you. Our final Newlander battle brings in Shroomboom, Life Element Newlander. He's got a mark 1-7, 1-3 overall, 2-10, just like Chill. He is our 6th, I believe. No, I was looking at the wrong slot. Yeah, he's 6th. And Fright Rider, 3-5, 3-1, 500 mark, 6-6. Good for 3rd place amongst Newlanders. This one could be close. Shroomboom, while he doesn't have a great record, it's real rare that he's been blown out. He's usually been competing pretty well. Fright Rider, again, he's kind of balanced that middle ground. You've got Hot Dog and Pop Fizz that are right up there at the top of the Newlanders. And then everybody else has kind of always been at the bottom. We do have a couple, running and streaking now. That said, Fright Rider's always kind of been in that, not near the top and not near the bottom, and he's honestly just kind of by himself. That's reflective of his 6-6 mark. There's really big winners, there's big losers, and then he's just kind of right there in the middle. I think I know who I would take here. I'm pretty sure I know how the votes are going to go. That said, this one could turn out to be pretty interesting. We're just going to have to wait it out and see. That said, again, this wraps up our Newlander side of the equation. This is the first time I've done the Newlanders first, and that's for good reason. We come in, Castaway matchup number 1. This one is going to be pretty dadgum good, I believe. Warnado and Boomer. Warnado Air Element Castaway, Boomer Tech Element Castaway. Warnado has a mark overall 7-5. He's our 5th ranked Newlander. He was 5-3. So was Boomer against the Newlanders. Warnado 500, 2-2 against his fellow Castaways. And Boomer, I believe, 1-3 for a mark of 6-6. Again, number 5 Warnado, number 7 Boomer. Boomer has performed very well. One of those losses came to Dino-Rang in round 4, and it was by 1 vote. He's actually the only character that's lost to Sprocket at this point in time. That was in round 1 of the tournament. Way back. I mean, the original Castaways versus Newlanders elemental matches, if you will. I know what I would do here. It's actually a pretty interesting matchup. I think I know what'll happen, but by no means am I 100% sure how the votes are going to turn out. I think this one could actually come out. May not be the obviously it's not the flashiest, I'll just be honest with you. That said, this could be kind of like Boomer Dino-Rang last time. Doesn't be by any means the most attractive or attention-drawing matchup, but it very well could turn out to be one of the most intense. This is one I'm definitely looking forward to. Our next matchup, we have Earthen Avenger Dino-Rang coming in. He is, of course, our Earth Element Castaway. Don't know what my computer just did over there. He comes in with a mark 5-3 and 1-3. That was actually his first win in round 4 against Boomer against the Castaways. That puts him at 6-6, good for 6th place. Again, that tiebreaker with Boomer, basically what separates 6 and 7. The good news for Dino-Rang being in that 6th slot, he is up against the number 8 Castaway, which is Magic Elements of Voodood. Voodood came in, he performed pretty well against the Newlanders 3-5. That said, he has gone 0-4 against his fellow Castaways. Puts him at 3-12, again, good for last place. I know who I would take out of these two. This is another one, just like last time around with Dino-Rang and Boomer. The other 3 matches kind of seem a little bit more appealing this time on the Castaway side. This one, just like Warnado and Boomer, could turn out to be really close. It's definitely one of those ones, if you're a big Dino-Rang fan, you need to rally the troops. Same thing, the Voodood people, wanting to rally, get him a win here or something. Need to spread the word, get some votes going. That said, this is a marquee matchup. That said, it's not the marquee matchup, and that's really saying something. These are 2 fan favorites, 2 long-tenured fan favorites. Sunburn, of course, Fire Element Castaway, hails from Dragon's Peak. Wham-Shell, Water Element Castaway. Insanely hard to find. These were kind of like the last 2 big hurrahs, if you will, from the SSA launch table. Sunburn comes in. He was in a sweet showdown with Ghost Roaster. He lost by 3. And you probably know how Ghost Roasters perform throughout this thing. That speaks volumes for what Sunburn's capable of. Wham-Shell, what did he lose by? 14 to Camo. That's really not that bad, given how Camo's just dominated this thing. That said, Sunburn, 6-2 and 2-2 puts him at 8-4. He is our number 4. Yeah, he's number 4. Wham-Shell is one of those ones I wrote him correctly. I just had him on the wrong line. Wham-Shell came in with a mark of 7-1. He's now gone 2-2 against his fellow Castaways. Puts him at 9-3. That makes him the number 3 Skylander. Overall and in terms of, our Castaway side. That said, his mark, number 3, 9-3. Sunburn, number 4, 8-4. This is 3 versus 4. This is what tournament type competition is all about. And we've got it here in round 5. I know who I would pick. I will be honest with you. I think that I know what everyone's going to, at least the most people are going to do in this one. That said, I could be wrong, and this one is one, like I said, of the true marquee matchups. Catches your attention, and I expect it to perform fully to what we all anticipate from something of this magnitude. But again, number 3 Wham-Shell, number 4 Sunburn. This is going to either settle the score. Essentially, if Sunburn wins this, he's going to jump over Wham-Shell in the rankings. If Wham-Shell wins it, he's actually going to knock him down a peg and further distance himself in the standings. So, big implications on the Castaway side and our overall rankings here. Definitely, if you are a Wham-Shell or Sunburn person, going to need to get on board here. This is going to be an interesting showdown. Our final matchup, and this is the whole reason I set this thing with the Newlanders first. This is the showdown of all showdowns at this point in time and in this tournament. Could I come up with a tougher matchup? Probably. It would involve other Skylanders, yes. Out of the Castaways Newlanders, this is a true showdown. Just out of the Castaways, this is a true showdown. If I got my entire collection strung out on the pool table and we had every Skylander released in SSA and Giants, this would still be one of the premier matches you could potentially have. It is, of course, Camo, Life Element Castaway. He comes in with a mark that's unblemished. 8-0 against the Newlanders, 4-0 against his fellow Castaways. That puts him at 12-0, number 1 amongst Castaways, number 1 overall in this bracket. Ghost Roaster slides in. He, of course, has performed equally as impressive. He went a impressive 7-1 against the Newlanders, and then he is also 4-0 against his fellow Castaways. That puts him 7-1, 4-1, a mark of 11-1. If Camo's number 1 at 12-0, Ghost Roaster is 11-1. We know Wham-Shell is 9-3-3. Sunburn's 8-4-4. That would mean that 11-1 is going to be good for second place. We have, this late in the game with 12 matches under their belt, we have a true number 1 versus number 2 showdown here. Like I said, we could pull out my entire collection. I could start throwing in Swap Force characters. We could involve all the Giants, all the variants, legendaries, whatever you want. And this is one of those matchups that's always going to stand out, always going to be intense. It's hard for me to know what to expect here. I do think I know who the masses are going to take. That said, you've seen crazier things happen. Obviously, both of them have a lot of fans and are well respected, or they wouldn't be 1-2 with marks of 12-0 and 11-1 respectively. That said, while Camo's reign supreme, it takes 1, 2, 3 votes, and Ghost Roaster could come out on top of this thing. Ghost Roaster again just narrowly escaped Sunburn by 3 votes. That could work to get Ghost Roaster supporters on the move. Camo took down Wham-Shell by 14. Maybe they're complacent. You never know what the scenarios are going to be. What I can tell you, all of these matches here, including this marquee epic showdown, will run through basically 11:59 Central Standard Time on September 1st. So it's 2 weeks. Like I said in round 4 results, I actually went ahead last night. That's when I pinned all this out in a sleepy stupor. Got the polls up. Granted, not a lot of people have voted in them because I don't have the videos to back them. But we've got a full 2 weeks essentially on these, and for good reason. Like I said, this is one of the first times I feel like I could have gone back to the 1 week in between everything. It's because of a match like this that I elected not to and stick to the 2 weeks for now. Like I said, you could put every Skylander known to man out here, and if you drew these two in your hand for a random match, that's an epic showdown. I don't care who all is potentially involved. Going to be really, really interesting on this one. But again, number 1 Camo, 12-0. Number 2 Ghost Roaster, 11-0. Something's got to give right here. That said, that is our final matchup here on the Castaway side. Of course, you can find all these polls on the blog, oneofwisdom.com. They are located on the right-hand side. Find the Twitter feed. They're located right below that. Got some other cool polls up. Do you prefer Giants or SSA? Which starter pack for Swap Force are you going to get, if not both? Which has been a popular option. I actually had to redo the poll. Only 3 or 4 people had voted. It was one of those late night things again, so it's probably people, Australia, New Zealand. If you voted early on, might check it. If it comes up, you can vote. That's because it's a brand new poll. 2 weeks, you know the drill. Factor everything in. The pose, voice acting, how well you like them in the game. If you think that they're unique, if you think that they're the best PvP, if you think they're the most fun to play with, everything you can think of, throw it in a hat, and basically what you're doing out of these 2 Skylanders going head to head, which one is my personal favorite? That's how I want you to vote. And like I always say, this is just kind of an extension, something else we can do with the Skylanders, have some fun. Big thanks to everyone that has voted. Hopefully, like I alluded to in the last video, school started back up. Tell your friends, get more people involved in this. Clearly, it's getting to the point now, particularly here, we've got some killer matches. There are a ton of them this time that can be really, really close. And even if they do turn out to have a few blowouts, it's going to be something that's going to be critical in the seeding of this tournament, because it's either going to bring people to an even tie with, the slight edge due to a head-to-head victory, or it's going to start to distance things, and that's what we kind of need to establish. That said, what is my marquee matchup right here? That's easy for me. It's Camo Ghost Roaster. Also of note, pretty much all the Castaways. The second one, number 3 Wham-Shell, number 4 Sunburn. That said, these 2 here, Boomer Voodood, Warnado, Dino-Rang Voodood, Warnado Boomer, could be really close. JetVac Sprocket could be really close. Biggest blowout. I'm not predicting any big blowouts on the Castaway side, I will tell you that right now. One of these 2 is always up for a big blowout. Don't know how it's going to be. I'm actually anticipating JetVac Sprocket to be close. Given the popularity of Pop Fizz, that's a potential blowout. Given the popularity of Hot Dog, also pretty much any time those 2 square off with someone not of equal, insanely high popularity, you've got the potential there. Shroomboom, Fright Rider could also be one. That said, if I have to pick one, I'm marqueeing Camo Ghost Roaster. And just basing things solely on the record, for when I pick out the biggest blowout, I'll go ahead and go Hot Dog Chill. Again, those are just my predictions. What you can do in the meantime, make sure you vote. That's going to be critical here. Make sure, like I said, you tell your friends, rally the troops. See if you can't get your favorite Skylander to come out on top. In the meantime, once you voted, feel free to come back here, tell me what you think is the best matchup. Maybe you don't think it's Camo Ghost Roaster, maybe you think it's actually Warnado Boomer. Tell me what you think the epic matchup of the round is. Let me know what you think the biggest blowout's going to be. Feel free to chime in, with your entire rundown, who you pick in each matchup. Then you can compare to what the masses do, and then of course when we crank out round 5 results, you can kind of see what my thoughts were on everything. That said, main thing here is to have fun. Skylanders are not exactly the cheapest thing in the world to do, but they are a lot of fun, get a lot of replay out of them. And outside of the game and the battle mode, this is just one of those things, I was able to kind of put together. There's enough people that like it for me to continue to do it. And got to admit, it's pretty interesting to kind of see who comes out on top. And it's a lot of fun. You kind of get to come back in, check it. Maybe if you're a big Wham-Shell fan, you see how he's performing against Sunburn. Just like I said, have fun. You know, that's the main purpose here. Again, the polls, right-hand side of the blog, oneofwisdom.com. If you take the link at the top, if you're new to all this and you wonder, you know, man, how did Sprocket and JetVac wind up at 1 and 11? I've got everything archived. You can go back in, take a look at all that. You can watch the videos, just look at the results, whatever floats your boat. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be reminding people quite often to vote in this one. You can follow me, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Of course, make sure you subscribe. You do not want to miss the round 5 results. Like I said, some of these matches, you could have every Skylander out there and you could draw these matchups. They would be just as epic then. Really, really nice slate, honestly, across the board. I mean, we've got basically 5 or 6 that are going to be really, really close, I think, which is pretty freaking awesome. That said, I'm tired. I've still got to edit and upload this. I've got to come in, crank out the descriptions on those other 2 videos, get them up. Again, Chase McCain is out here. If you find him as well, feel free to post up. I'll get the Beyblade unboxing and the Shogun Steel my nephew and I did earlier in the week. I'll make that one live. It should be uploaded now. And then, of course, the other one that's probably still uploading right now is the round 4 matches or results. I'll come in, I'll edit this one, get it up. I've got to get to bed so I can get up for work in the morning. That said, lots to be excited about here. It's kind of got me going on a second wind, actually. But again, oneofwisdom.com. Questions, comments, feel free to ask here. As always, thanks for watching. More importantly, in this case, thank you for voting. And like I said, spread the word. Incredible matches this time. I will catch you back here for round 5 results and round 6 matches. And until then, get ready for the showdown.